Okay, what's up, everybody? So this is going to be kind of my version of a how-to, zero sanity, zero evidence. These are really the only settings I play on. I've been playing with a lot of newer people recently, or a lot of people that have just been kind of getting into this, and a lot of people been asking questions. How do you do it? How do you, like, figure out what ghost is what? So I'm just going to do kind of like a walkthrough on what I do, like how I approach it. There is lots of different ways to do this, so I'm just going to show you my way, like the way how I do it, what I look for, and stuff like that. So there is going to be a lot of different ways to do this. There's no right and wrong way. So I'm just going to run through kind of what's going through my mind as I'm doing this. So these are my settings I'm using. I'm doing zero evidence, medium hunt, change favorite rooms high, roaming high, zero evidence, zero sanity, sprinting's on, flashlight's on, all that stuff. So I got almost a 9-time multiplier here. So we're just going to get in. I'm going to just live stream this too, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get some wrong. Maybe we'll get them all right. Who knows? We'll just see what happens here. Get ready and go in. I'm probably just going to do a couple runs on Tanglewood. I hate just doing the same map for a stream, but if you are looking to get into doing zero sanity, zero evidence, Tanglewood is probably the best place to learn it. So normally when I go in, I always take smudge, lighter, and a flashlight. And I start with the breaker on, but I still take a flashlight, and that's for a pretty, it's for a reason. So I use my flashlight to test for Raiju, Myling, and yokai. So you can use a radio to test for yokai. I just prefer the flashlight. Once you're kind of comfortable with Myling, you can just kind of listen for it. You don't have to do a flashlight test, but I'm gonna just do that anyway. I'm gonna do the flashlight test. And you can use any electronic equipment to test for a Raiju. But again, I try and check ghosts off here kind of systematically, so I don't want to be doing like one hunt to check for one ghost, so I try and group in as many ghosts as I can into one test, so I can just cross off a bunch of people in one shot. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. So I always take the flashlight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make it to the garage, because if it's going to be a fast ghost, something like a Thay or a Moroi or even a Dio, you don't want to get caught somewhere where you have to smudge. I like only smudging when I have to, and not wasting my smudges, because you might need the smudges to identify ghosts. So I'm going to try making it to the garage. That's what I try and do every time. And we're going to just try and listen. And what I'm listening for is any of the fast or slow ghosts. So the Moroi, we're at zero sanity. That's going to be super fast. Thay is going to be super fast. Dio obviously is going to be super fast until he gets close and slow down. And that's why I like to always have an escape plan. I don't like to just go in and hide, because if it is a Dio, you could think it's a Thay by how fast it is, and then it slows down and kills you in a locker somewhere. So first hunt, I like to be outside, not in a hiding spot, and just listen for the footsteps. So I'm listening to see if it's going to be fast. Twins will be slightly faster, slightly slower than normal. Hantu is obviously going to be fast in the ghost room, slower outside of the ghost room. And a Revenant's obviously pretty obvious by the footsteps. It's going to be super slow if it doesn't see you. So that's all I'm going to be doing when I first go in. I'm just going to be listening to footsteps to see if it's any one of these. If I go in and the footsteps are normal, I'm going to try and loop it around the counter. And usually in my first loop, I'm trying to check for blinking. So I'm going to be looking for Phantom and Oni. And I want to see if it's got any kind of a boost. So I'm going to be looking for a Jin and a Raiju as well. So then if it has any kind of a boost to it, I know it's either going to be a Jin or a Raiju. Then I can loop them again with the flashlight off and kind of see what happens. And if I can, if he does spawn far enough away, I can throw a Myling test in. If I have enough time to set up, I can throw some stuff on the kitchen island and I can test for poltergeist. And then depending on how it goes, I can possibly test for a yokai as well. So I'm gonna at least test for Phantom, Oni, Jin, and Raiju, and Polter, if I can. So let's see. Let's just see what happens here. Alright, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try and hit the garage. If we have to hide right away, we'll hide, but we try and just get to kitchen or garage. Doesn't matter. I like to get the lights on just to see what I'm doing. Then if I get time, I'll throw some crap on this table here. And you can make a polter pile. A lot of people... There's got a ribcage there. A lot of people make a polter pile. That does work. Just from my experience, I like doing this because I don't have to wait for a poltergeist to explode the pile. All I have to do is loop it around this table once and I can tell if it's polter. If you just scatter stuff around, it'll throw everything and it'll throw it far. So it sounds like we got door touches in foyer. So we're all set up here. So as soon as it starts hunting... Excuse me. As soon as it starts hunting, I'm shutting my flashlight off, because if it is a revenant, I don't want him running right to me. I can escape into the garage and get away. Oh, now he's touching doors around here. Okay. May have some sort of a following ghost. So I'm just going to listen to the footsteps. If they're normal, I'm going to loop it around this table and see if I can pick up anything from a blinking pattern or a boost or a test for Pulte. Oh, hello, sir. And he blew the lights in here. Well, that's going to make it a little more difficult. Okay, so he's going to be difficult right off the bat here. So I didn't get to hear any footsteps there. I should have just ran into here, but we're going to try that again. Again, I want to do this all in a live stream so you guys can see when things don't go right. I don't want everything just to be set up. So I don't know if he roamed to me. I think he might have like roamed to me or something like that. So I want to listen to the footsteps here. This time I'm going to run into the garage just so I can hear the footsteps. Sounds like he's over there, but he did spawn from a ghost event here, but right. So we could have a possible mare here right off the bat, because it did blow lights and shut the breaker off. So as you're doing this, you want to kind of pay attention to some of like the behavior, because not every ghost has a test that you can just do something and say, oh, yep, that's this. A lot of them do, but then again, a lot of them don't. Okay, so he's got normal steps. Not a myling, because my flashlight's not flashing here. Let's see if we can draw him in here. Yep, we can, so he's not a yokai. Okay, he's not a Jin, he's not a Raiju. And it looked like he had normal blinking. So from that, we can tell that it's normal steps, so we know it's not going to be any of these. Alright, he did not speed up with my flashlight. He didn't speed up when he saw me. He also hit the breaker, so we know it's not Jin. It's not blinking like a phantom. I want to look one more time for Oni. I want to look again for Obake. We know it's not a myling because I heard his footsteps before my flashlight started flashing. I'm pretty sure it's not yokai. Because I did have my flashlight on in here. And I try and keep them When I'm trying to do a yokai test, I try and keep the ghost at the edge of where my flashlight is blinking. Because obviously if they get too close, a yokai is going to sense it anyway and just come in. So I try and keep the ghost just at the edge of where my flashlight's blinking. And if he finds me and follows me, then it's pretty safe to say it's not a yokai. That light's blown. So, let me see if he'll let me leave real quick. Because I do want to loop around that kitchen island. That's going to give me good visibility on him, but it is dark in there now, so let's just see if we can put a couple of these up to maybe use it for a little light. And I want to check for Oni and Obake. He's gonna hunt. And I don't have my smudge, I don't have my lighter either. He is looking very visible here. But see, the car breaks off. Yeah, that might be an Oni. The car breaks that line of sight there, so we're gonna have to, that's why I like that kitchen island better, because you can see the ghost the whole time. Damn. Alright, that might work. Let's check it out. So we might be dealing with an Oni here, which is good. If we know what we're dealing with, then we can go get the perfect game and finish it. It's definitely not a Poltergeist, because it did go around this table. So I'm going to look into Oni, because I'm kind of thinking he's pretty visible here. This might be better. Maybe? Not sure where this is going to give me the best light here. Yeah, we'll do that. That's not bad. We can see him. I need to see how visible he's going to be here. I guess we could loop around this if we had to, too. So just from the sound of the footsteps, we know it's not Maroi, Dio, Thay, Twins, Hantu, or Rev. There's no boost, so we know it's definitely not a Jin, a Raiju. We did test it for Myling. It's not blinking like a phantom. In fact, it's kind of blinking the opposite, which is why I'm thinking it might be Oni. It's definitely not a Poltergeist. Okay, spawn in living room. Yeah, that's an Oni. So you can tell by how visible he is. Tell by how visible he is during that hunt. So that was kind of an easy one. Half of the ghosts in the game are going to be relatively easy. So I think for this demonstration purpose here, usually I go for perfect games, but I don't think I'm going to go for perfect games. I think we're just going to jump in and out, try and get some of these done here. With these settings, if I do get perfect game, I get around 900 XP, something like that. So I usually try and get perfect games just to get, you know, more money, more XP, and it makes it more fun to go in and actually try and do the challenges, get the ghost photo, do everything else. So we got the ghost right there. But for this, I'll just try and keep it relatively quick, and we won't, you know, we won't do any of that. And we'll just get the ghost and go. So just for that, getting the ghost, picking up the bone, we got 523 XP. So let's see. Let's try it again. See what happens. See what we get. And again, I'm just going to do a few of these on Tanglewood and just kind of like explain a little bit on what I'm doing. So it might get a little repetitive, but I do things kind of systematically here. So again, I'm going to try and make it to the kitchen or garage. We're going to try and listen for the footsteps. If they're normal, then we're going to come out and loop it and see if we can pick up anything else from it. There's the bone again in there. All right. Okay, normal footsteps. Oh, it's crawling. And the crawling ghosts are tougher to do this on, but we're still gonna do it here. Just have to change up the strategy a little bit. So I didn't get to throw anything down here. It's probably not a poltergeist because it's not really... You hear it throwing a lot more stuff, but I still want to see it. So we're gonna... Hopefully it's gonna be standing this time, or even crouching, bent over would be better, because then we can see it. And it just threw something. Okay. Nope, it's not gonna be. You son of a bitch. If I keep it on the edge of my flashlight, it came to me, so I know it's not yokai. It's not a phantom. Doesn't look like an Oni this time. Alright, so let's see where we're at here. It's touching doors in the foyer, I think, right? It's not touching these doors. It's touching doors over there. So that's definitely not a poltergeist. It's normal speed, so we can cross off these. What door? Oh, you son of a bitch. No, it's not a phantom, it's not a Jinn, not a Raiju. It's not Oni this time. I haven't seen it shapeshift yet, but I'm going to keep looking for that. I did test it twice for yokai. Don't think it's going to be yokai. So this might be one of the more trickier ones. What are you? Okay, so that's kind of a shadow model type ghost event. So this thing... Don't know if this thing is following me or not. So while it's smudged, I'm going to grab another smudge and I want to make sure... I don't think it's myling, but I just want to make sure it's not myling. So we're just going to run in here before the smudge wears off. I thought it was touching stuff around here. But then it spawned next to me a couple times, so... Who knows, we'll figure it out here. So I do want to give it another shot for Obake too. You want to see it for as long as you can during a hunt. If you don't see it, like, if I don't see it shift in a hunt and I'm looping it for maybe like most of the hunt or something, I want to do that a couple times. Okay, it's another shadow. So that's interesting. Sometimes you want to pay attention to the ghost events too, because sometimes the ghost events can help you. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, because sometimes the ghost events can help you determine who it is. So I saw that for, I think, that entire hunt there, and it didn't shift at all. So I can rule Obake out. I did not time that. I should have timed that, but that I can tell you that that wasn't 3 minutes. So we can rule Spirit out from that smudge. I'm sure I'll be smudging it again so we can time it to make sure, but that wasn't a 3-minute rehunt there. And I don't know if it spawned from right here or not. But I do need to... Okay, another shadow. And it's singing too. So I just want to rule out miling. I just want to be sure and rule miling out. So I'm going to go in here. All the way in the back corner. Ah, okay, now it's not a shadow. That was a full model there. And now it's probably going to spawn in here. So I need to just get... I need to just get some room here from it. I'm not sure where it's going to spawn now. Right on top of me. Do we have a wraith? We might have a wraith here. And I went downstairs. So you can't do your miling test on different floors. It has to be on the same floor. Once it comes up, I want to see if I hear the footsteps before my flashlight starts flashing. There we go. You can tell... you can tell that it wasn't a miling. I just wanted to see the flashlight not flash just for this kind of purpose here. So we know it's not a miling. I know it's not a spirit. Now it has spawned on top of me a couple times here. It's touching doors out in this hallway. I want to see if it's going to spawn close to me one more time, and then I'm going to throw salt down. You know what? Maybe we'll just do that anyway. Kind of getting the feeling like it's maybe teleporting to me, maybe wraith. So I'm going to grab an EMF. I'm going to grab salt. Yeah, we'll take 2 salt. And it's probably going to spawn as soon as I go in here. Shit. I might be dead. Kind of feeling like this thing is like roaming or teleporting to me. So it could be a Banshee or a Wraith. Banshee's going to be tougher to tell in single player, but we'll see if we can get it. What I'm going to try and do first, though, is I'm going to throw this down here, away from the doors, and this is going to test for a Wraith for me. So we have salt. Oh, okay, it's not a Wraith. We got footsteps. Okay, so we're not dealing with a Wraith. It's spawning over here again. I'm still feeling like this thing is kind of roaming to me here, but we're gonna do some more tests to kind of figure out what it is. I could go get the paramic and just kind of listen, you know, see if we get a Banshee scream, but that can take forever. I'll do that if I'm like waiting to have, you know, waiting for other stuff here. I'm going to try doing an Onryo test right now. so I'm gonna throw... I think it's coming from here, so I'm gonna throw a couple crucies down. Where's my lighter? Okay, I'm not sure if it's coming from one of these rooms. Last time I think it spawned like right here, maybe? We'll see. We'll figure that out. Shit. I think blue bedroom. Okay, so I think it came from blue bedroom that time. Which means it's moving all over the place, so we can probably cross Goryo out. Goryos can't change their favorite rooms, and they don't roam far. They can roam, but they don't roam far. Let's see here. Let's move one of these in here. I also want to keep the lights on in this area, too. Is it in the bathroom? Yeah, we'll put that in the middle, kind of. Alright. That's another shadow. So it's not an Onryo because it ate that crucie from under the candle. So we can cross Onryo off. So yeah, now we're kind of getting down to the tougher ghosts here. What I'm going to do is just check for orbs real quick. It doesn't seem like it's changing how it's hunting at all. But you could get a mimic that just mimics normal kind of ghosts. You know, goes from a Yuri to a Mare to an Onryo to a Shade, you know, like they can be all normal. So it's always good, just check for orbs. It's touching a lot of doors. Not seeing any orbs. So it's probably not going to be a mimic. Alright, so it is using that crucie there. It keeps touching this door. I'm not sure if it's coming from the bathroom or that blue bedroom. I don't feel like it's a demon, but what I do is I time in between hunts. So from the time that that crucie got hit, I started a timer, and I'm already up to 35 seconds now. So demons will hunt frequently. I want to see. I'm not sure if it's in here or not. Alright, so it just ate that while I'm standing in there. So if that ghost room is the bathroom, then we can probably rule Shade out. But if the ghost room's that blue bedroom, then we might have to try something else. So yeah, the ghost room's not the bathroom. Don't think my oh, shit. Don't think my thermometer's working. So that did take a long time to rehunt, so I'm thinking it's not going to be a demon. None of the hunts it's done have been quick. How come I can't find a cold room here? $248. It's kind of cold in there. You get a ghost that's roaming around a lot, it's going to be a little trickier to get the ghost room. So it's not going to be as cold. So I'm thinking maybe it is bathroom. Yeah, it just knocked on the window in here. So I'm going to just try and make sure it's not shade. I don't think it is shade. We're getting down to like the worst ones here. So I didn't see orbs, so I don't think it's mimic. Now, if the ghost room is the bathroom, it's probably not Goryo, just based on the fact that it's not super cold in here. Which is telling me that this thing is kind of roaming around a lot. Dude, I got stuck on something over there. So let me take another peek with the thermometer here, because it did spawn kind of across... Spawn at the end of the foyer, too. See, now it's... I'm not getting cold in there. So I can't really even find a ghost room here. Yeah, so I'm going to cross Goryo off. Because I feel like it's roaming too much for Goryo. So that's kind of leaving, like, the worst ones here. Banshee and single player, Mayor, Yuri, and Goryo are literally the worst for ghosts. Touching a lot of doors, which is making me think it's Yuri. I want to check and see if it's going to be following me, or see if it's going to blow any lights, anything like that. And then we're just going to have to kind of go by feel and behavior type things here. It's not cold out here. Just threw something in here, but okay, so now it's cold in here. So I did not get to turn the light on there. So we're going to try leaving the lights on all around this ghost room here. We're going to leave them on. That. And let's see what happens here. Just from my experience, I would say mayors usually do a lot more ghost events than what I'm getting. They'll usually shut the breaker off more or turn the light off. Man, there's a ghost event. There's another ghost event. Okay. So I'm looking to see if any lights get turned off, breaker gets flipped, lights get blown, anything like that, because I'm really down to, like, where's that spawning? Right in the foyer that time. So we might just grab a power mic and just see if we can get a Banshee scream or something here. But one thing I do want to do after this hunt, I'm going to just sit in this laundry room here. This utility room. I want to turn these lights on though again. Just see if anything's going to happen. Did this door just get shut? Kind of thinking this might be Yuri, which is like almost impossible to test for. It is impossible to test for unless you see that the door fully shut. But what I want to do is just kind of hang out here and see if any of these doors get touched. I think that was foyer. Well, it's walking on the salt, so now it's going to spawn right here if it does spawn. So this is kind of one of like the harder matches that you will get doing this. I'm thinking it's not Mare, so I have it between Banshee and Yuri right now, and I'm kind of leaning towards Yuri. Let's just see, are all the doors still open? Oh, I touched that one. All the lights are still on. Okay, it's back over here now. If we do get a Banshee, the Banshee should roam to me and start touching doors around me. I did kind of feel like it was roaming a lot in the beginning. So I think I'm going to rule Mare out at this point, because it doesn't seem to be really acting too much like a Mare here. It's not shutting the breaker off. It's not shutting the lights off. Yeah, so I'm going to say no Mare. It's backstepping in salt right here, though. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of these two, so I might just get a paramic and just see. But I think it's going to be Yuri. It spawned over there that time. But I think it did that because it was walking in the salt there. Yeah, I think it did that because it was walking in the salt that time, and that's where it was. But I think what I'm going to do is just grab a paramic, see if we can get a Banshee scream in here. Which we're probably not. And I wanted to keep these kind of quick, but we did end up getting a pretty tricky ghost here. Oh, I hit the breaker that time. Alright, let's get that real quick. I might even smudge it, just to give me like a minute and a half or so. Yeah, I'm gonna smudge it. Just to give me a little bit of time to maybe get a paramic reading. Oh god, don't follow me. Jeez. I got smudge followed. Alright. Breaker's on. Let's try and get a paramic reading here. Where are you? And we got a Banshee. So there we go. Usually you don't get that quick. I've had matches where I've been holding that power mic for 20-25 minutes, getting 10 whispers in there and not hearing it. So that Banshee call is rare, I think. At least for me it is. So the way it was touching doors kind of was making me lean towards Yuri, but it did seem like it was following me around, especially more so in the beginning. It was like I could hear it touching the doors from out there, but it was coming to me and doing ghost events around me and spawning near me. So that's why I never crossed that off, and I wanted to test for it. So we got the Banshee Scream. That was a little bit harder of a, or not harder, but longer, you know, more testing, more kind of looking at the behavior of it.
Welcome back. I've got some jobs ready for you.
And I didn't even realize that I got all 3 objectives done either. So we got a little bonus there. Let's see, we'll see if we can do a few more pretty quick here. See what we got next time.
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation.
Alright, so same deal. I'm going to take the same things. We're going to head to the kitchen or the garage. If I got time, I'm going to try and set up my little Pulte test there. Listen for the footsteps. We're going to loop it once if it's normal. If it's not normal, we should be able to tell what it is just by the footsteps. But if it's normal, we can loop it to try and get anything else we can get from it. So this is usually all I do here. And if I'm at Willow, I'll... Garage? Yep, it's in garage. So normal footsteps. Oh, do we have a Pulte? It chucks some stuff far, but I don't know. I gotta look at that again. Of course, it's crawling on the ground, which just makes it harder. It was throwing stuff here. So we have a garage ghost. Not a miling. Normal speed. Are you going to be upright this time? Yeah, you are. Okay. Alright, not a poltergeist. Not a phantom. It's not an Oni. Oh, you little bastard. And I didn't see it shapeshift at all. So we got quite a few ghosts we can cross off here now. I am going to start my timer because I smudged it. We can check for a spirit. So we know it's not a Moroi, Dio, Thay, Twins, Hantu, or Rev. I know it's not a Phantom, Oni, Jin, Raiju, Marlin, Polter. It's probably not Yokai, but I do want to test that again. And I would say it's not Obake either. And it likes to roam, because if its room is the garage, touching on this door, which is kind of further away here. So I do want to check for yokai, and then we can get into, so I kind of do this like the same order every time. I do my speed test first, then I'll do Phantom, Oni, Jin, Raiju, then I'll try and knock off Myling, Obake, yokai. So I'm just going to finish doing a yokai test, and then after that, we'll do the, I usually do the Onryo and Wraith test. We're also testing for a spirit right now, and possibly a demon, but we'll see what happens here. So we're coming up to a minute 30 right now. You know what, before I go in there, I want to see when it's going to spawn. Thought I just heard something. Is it in the living room? There's a cup on the ground. It's in the master bedroom now. Are you moving from light? Okay, I think it moved out of the garage. Wow. Doing a lot of singing ghost events here. Come on, come on, we know. It's probably gonna spawn right there now. So I just want to check it for a yokai, and then I'm gonna move on. So again, my first kind of testing is speed for Moroi, Diothe, Twins, Hantu, Rev. Then I'm going to test it for blinking and boosting. So that's Phantom, Oni, Jin, Raiju. Then I kind of test it for Obake, Myling, Yokai, Polter. We try and throw in as many of those. Are you turning lights on or off? What are you doing? It shut that bedroom light off. Okay, there we go. Not a yokai. That was perfect because it was coming in here. And then it turned around and left. So me flicking my flashlight on, it came right back in. Alright, so let's see where we're at here. Wow, I don't have a smudge. Okay, so... I totally forgot to look at my timer for the spirit too, but we know it's not yokai. We're gonna have to smudge test it again. We need to do Onryo test, throw some salt down, try and check for orbs too. This thing is all over the place, so we know it's not a Goryo. I'm gonna take some of these. I'll take one of them. And I think I'm just gonna throw some salt in and a video cam. And that might be good for now. So I think it might have moved to like the living room or the master. Oh, I need a smudge too. So I'm not exactly sure, but I think it moved to the master or the living room. I'm gonna take one of these and a couple smudges. So let's see, I'm gonna try and throw one of these, yep. Okay. Sometimes the ghost will bleed through from the master into the living room. But I want to get some candles out just so we can make sure it's not an Onryo. Get some salt out, make sure it's not a Wraith. I'm gonna put some salt in here too because I have a feeling it's gonna be spawning in here as well. Okay, so there we go. It's not an Onryo and it's not a Wraith. So let's look for orbs. Let's throw in some stuff around here. Okay, so I'm not seeing orbs anywhere. So it's probably not going to be a mimic. We're going to have to time for a demon, time for a spirit, and then we're kind of left with the same ghost that we had already. Could possibly be a shade too, but... let's see, I know it's in here. I'm going to just stand in here and see if it's going to be hesitant to spawn. So we may have a shade. Oh, it just moved. Where did that come from? I thought that was spawning in the basement. Alright, so it moved. Again. So we gotta try and figure out why it moved. We know it's not an Onryo. It might have moved because of the light. Where's that coming from? Is it throwing stuff in here now? Let's see, I'm gonna just try and leave all the lights on this side of the house. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the breaker gets hit. Or if a light goes off. I haven't seen any fast rehunts yet, so... spawn in the basement. So I might smudge it here, just to time for a spirit again. Okay, so we're timing for a spirit. I think all of our crucies are done, so we don't have to worry. Oh, nope, that one's still got a charge left in it. We'll get this one out of here, because I don't want to be timing and have it hit this, and then screws my timer up, so I'm getting that far away. While I'm timing, I'm going to take this, go in the basement. And we're gonna see what we get with this here. Is it not down here? Oh, did you throw something up here? You did. So I'm coming up on a minute and a half now, so a normal ghost can spawn. I didn't get anything on parabolic either. I kind of have a feeling like this ghost is moving because of something. And I know it's not flames, because we ruled Onryo out, so I'm kind of wondering if this is a mare or a shade. I'm not even sure where it is right now. Is it back in the basement? You're knocking on coolers, maybe. And I'm coming up to 3 minutes here, too, so... Oh, this is going to be a spirit. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay, so you're not a shade. You're not a shade, and you're going to spawn now. So, I'm thinking that's going to be a spirit, because we hit our 3 minutes. Spirits can be tricky too, because they kind of are all over the place a little bit. They can be super active, move around a lot, like this one moved a ton. This one started in the garage, started touching doors around here, moved to the foyer, I think, then living room, then down to the basement. It's been all over the house. Almost acting like a roaming ghost. I thought it might have been moving with the light, because every time I started putting lights on, it would spawn somewhere else, but I think it was just moving somewhere. So, I'm gonna go with spirit on this one. Let's see what we got. We know it wasn't a demon. It's not a shade. Probably not a banshee. So, I mean, it could have been a mare. But it did go 3 minutes without hunting, so... There we go, spirit.
Welcome back. I've prepared some jobs for you.
Right on. So, I'm not getting as much as I usually do, but I'm trying to keep these rounds just kind of short and just kind of explaining what I'm doing. So, again, I'm not going for perfect games. Although I usually do, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation. Whoever was here must have summoned the ghost with a cursed object. Investigate it, but be careful. We don't know what it's capable of.
Okay. Let's see what we got this time here. Tanglewood definitely is the best place if you want to kind of get into this or try it or practice it. Yeah, it's spawning right in here, isn't it? See me? It did see me. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's normal speed, but I want to let that go again, because if that was a slow twin that spawned in and it saw me, you know, it could have sped up just enough to be normal. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother. Not going to bother with that. We're just, yeah, you know what, screw it. I'll just duck down and I'll hide behind this thing so it doesn't see me, so then I can listen to the footsteps. And then I'll stand up and I'll loop it, because I'm pretty sure it's normal. I just want to make sure that it's not a slow twin that slightly got sped up. Knocking on the glass. And here it comes. Okay, that's normal. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so we got a boost. It's a Raiju. So that's going to be a Raiju. So we're going to just... I'm going to just test it and show you how I know. So one of the things I look for, like I was saying, is after I eliminate the speeds, anything that's not normal speed. Everybody left here is normal speed, except with a few exceptions. Jin will be normal until it sees you, until it has line of sight. Raiju will be normal unless it's around electronics. And yeah, everybody else has normal speed. So when I was looping this thing, see, it has line of sight on me, and it's not boosting. But if I turn my flashlight on... Oh god, it's gonna kill me if I turn my flashlight on. If I turn my flashlight on, it's gonna boost at me. So, I mean, like I said, there's many different ways to test that. You could just throw almost any electronic down. Now, I've done a ton of testing with the Raiju on what speeds it up, what doesn't. If you throw a photo cam down, the photo cam's not going to speed it up. If you're holding the photo cam, that will speed it up. Similar with the video cam. If you throw a video cam down, it won't speed it up. But if you place it or you're holding it, it will speed it up. Motion sensors will speed it up. EMFs on the ground on will speed it up, as well as paramics on the ground will speed it up. So there's a lot of stuff that will speed it up and won't speed it up. But the flashlight will speed it up. So if you ever need to, if you ever want to test it, you can throw your flashlight down as long as it's on, and it will speed up over the flashlight. So I want to just get the breaker on. I'm just going to double check that it's still a Raiju, just so I don't get mimicked. But after the smudge, it should change. If it is a mimic, it would have changed by then. So he's coming from in here. So I'm going to throw that down here. And we'll just listen. He should get nice and sped up with that flashlight. And you could hear him fast out there. I wanted him to come in here, so he might be slower. Yeah. So it's probably not going to be a mimic because it's still a Raiju, so we'll pick Raiju, head out. We'll do a motion sensor and a repel. Maybe we'll just get them. Get a little bit extra here. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get the motion sensor and the repel, so I'll just throw this over here. We'll just smudge him. We'll get him over here. He's going to be fast from that motion sensor, though. And there's a lot of people that say motion sensors don't speed up Raijus, but I'm going to shut my flashlight off. So that's the only electronic that I have in here right now. And we'll see what happens. He's going to get sped up when he comes around there. So he's going to be super fast here, but we should still be able to do it. We'll get the smudge. Or do I want to put that a little further away? Let's put that a little further away. Because why not? Oh, you bastard. so we are all good here. This is probably the best way to prep a little hiding spot if you're doing a test. One of these little closets, leave one door shut, one door open. That way you can run in and hide. Oh, it's gonna spawn in the living room now? Why? I don't know where you are. Let's do that. I'm not going to bother getting that because he's just going to spawn and then it's going to screw this whole test up. But yeah, one door shut, one door open, and then you can just run in. And he's fast. Come here, Raiju. And that motion sensor sped him up. And there's a lot of people that have said that that doesn't work. But it does. Oh, I didn't get him a motion sensor. Well, whatever. I was trying to just get some objectives really quick before I headed out, but it's all good.
Welcome back. There's some jobs ready for you.
Go back in. We'll see what we get this time here.
We've arrived. Check the equipment and get set up before investigating. Whoever was here must have summoned the ghost with a cursed object. Investigate it. Don't know what it's capable of.
So no matter what map I'm playing on, I try and do the same thing. I try and kind of start the same way. Listen to footsteps, then try and eliminate Phantom and Oni, then try and eliminate Jin and Raiju, then try and eliminate Myling, Yokai, Obake, Polter, and then usually do like a smudge test, eliminate Spirit. And then if you eliminate all of them, you're kind of just down with the ones that it's more about like the traits that it has, the behavior. I think that's done. It sounded normal from down there. I just want to take one more peek at it up here. So it did shut the breaker off, so we know it's not Jin. I usually just... I'll do it now, but I usually just cross Jin off after I loop, because I like to just make sure it doesn't have a boost. There is a weird situation where you can have a breaker get switched off and it is a Jin, but that's only if you have a bunch of lights on. If a Jin flips a light on, it could overload and shut the breaker off. Okay, so coming from foyer, it's not a Myling, it is normal speed. Probably not Yokai, it's not Phantom, not Jin, not Raiju. That, are you a Poltergeist? Oh, you're a Poltergeist, okay. Well, that was easy. And that's why I'm gonna do this one more time just so you guys can see it, but that's why I don't bother with the Polty pile. Because like when you first come into one of these matches, you don't even know where the ghost room is. Sometimes you might hear... The spot's all the way over here. Sometimes you might hear something getting touched. But you might not know where the ghost room is when you first come in, but if you have a few extra seconds, you can set up a little test like this and just loop the ghost around once. And with Poltergeist, they'll either do one of two things, in my opinion, depending on how they get rolled for this match. They're either going to throw a lot, or they're not going to throw a lot, but the strength of what they throw is going to be a lot. Like, I mean, you can clearly see stuff just going flying here. And it's a lot easier than trying to wait to find a ghost room to make a Polty pile. So, there's nothing wrong with making Polty piles, you can do that, but for me, and the way that I play, this just works better because I can do a bunch of tests at once and not have to waste too much time, not have to waste smudges. So just in that like one hunt, basically. Well, it's gonna load out here, so we'll do it when we're at the lobby here.
Welcome back. I've got some jobs ready for you.
So just in that one hunt, that's why I kind of do things the way I do, because like right from that hunt, I knew it was normal speed, so in my head, I'm already crossing these off, and then from one loop, I'm crossing off Phantom, Jin, Oni, Raiju, Myling, sometimes Yokai and Obake, and I'm doing a Poltergeist test. So this can all be from one hunt. And it would have been from one hunt if I wasn't in the basement trying to get the power back on. I mean, you don't want to do too much because then you're going to miss something. So usually I'll listen to the footsteps. If they're normal, then I jump out, and my priority is for blinking and boosting. So Phantom, Jin, Oni, and Raiju. That's going to be like my priority on hunt 1 after I've already established normal footsteps. If you know it's not normal, then it's easy because you can easily figure out if it's a Rev, a Hantu. Usually you can just listen and tell the difference from a Moroi and a Thay. Dios are easy. Twins are usually easy. So there's usually not much testing that you have to do if it comes out not normal. But if it comes out normal, my next plan of attack is blinking, so I'm looking at Phantom, Oni, any kind of boosting, so I'm looking at Jin and Raiju. And if I'm far enough away, I try and throw like a Myling test and a Yokai test in. If I'm close to it, if it ends up spawning close to me, then I'll try and loop it for as long as I can to check for Obake. And if I have anything to throw in the area, check for Polter. But let's see, those last couple were kind of quick, so maybe we'll do another 1 or 2 quick ones and see what we get.
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation. Got the intel. Looks like this is going to be a tough one. We've had reports of violence, and it looks like they left in a hurry.
Alright. Let's see what we got this time. I'm not sure how many of these, I'm not sure how many we've done so far here, but the Banshee one turned out to be a little long, and maybe it would have been shorter if I grabbed the parabolic, but usually I don't think I've ever got the Banshee scream on my first try. Usually if it is a Banshee, it takes me 10 tries or 20 minutes to get a scream. So that, I think, is just all random. So, and usually if you play in multiplayer, it's easier because you can just see if it chases you and then see if it chases somebody you're with. And if it has a line of sight increase on 2 different people, as long as everybody's in the house. We have another Polty. I don't know if that's another Polty or not. So I try not to smudge when I don't have to. Because typically when you're doing this now, that can't be Polty. It is throwing a lot, but I don't think that's Polty. When you're playing this mode, I mean, you really need to get hunts to find out who the ghost is. So if you smudge it, or if you have crucifix down, you're stopping it from hunting. So obviously if you're playing with a group, you know, however people play. Usually when I'm going solo though, I try and figure out as much as I can who the ghost is first. And then if I get to the point where I have to throw crucifix down to test for an Onryo, or throw salt down to test for a wraith, then I'll start getting my pictures and stuff like that. But I like to just get hunted so I can get as much information about... Did I never turn that off? Yeah, I like to try and get as much information as I can here. It is throwing shit in that dining room. Throwing a lot of stuff in that dining room. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't think it's Poltergeist. It's throwing stuff kind of strong, but I don't think it's Poltergeist. So let's see here. We know it's normal speed. I know it's not a Phantom, Jinn. Pretty sure it's not an Oni. I want to take one more look at that because I was more kind of paying attention to the stuff it was throwing and not the blinking too much, but we will check it again. I don't think it's Polter. I haven't seen it shift at all. So I'm just going to take a couple extra smudges in just in case. Just in case we need them. I am doing a spirit test right now. So we're going to see when this spawns back. And I'm going to make sure... It definitely sounds like it has loud footsteps, so I know it's not a myling, but... The point of a how-to video... I'm going to go all the way back here. And we should hear the footsteps before my flashlight starts flashing. And it just did a shadow model. Shouldn't be able to spawn for probably 10 more seconds. Oh, come on. Well, now it might spawn in here. So I'm at a minute and a half, so regular ghosts can spawn. Alright, it's been long enough, it's probably going to spawn back in the dining room. No, it didn't. Alright, so I think that was coming toward me, towards that light. So I'll probably check it again, but I don't think it's going to be yokai. Didn't get to check myling because it spawned in close to me, which was a little weird that it spawned in here. It's doing a lot of ghost events in here. Did it move? See if it's going to throw stuff in here. If it spawns in the front of the garage, it's going to be too close to do a miling test. I'm just going to listen to it once and cross off miling. I'm pretty sure it's not miling. Pretty sure it's not yokai. We know it's not spirit. Okay, it spawned on top of me in there. So definitely not miling. Kind of getting the feeling like this could be like a wraith or maybe another banshee. Because it is a little bit all over the place here, so let's see, we're going to take some stuff in. I'm just going to take some stuff in to do an Onryo test while we're here anyway, but I want to see if we get salt prints. I want to take an EMF in as well and see if I can get it teleporting to me. So we'll take a second salt and maybe one of them. I'll just use the candles that are in here. I hate going in this room. It's a death trap. Is that a ghost event? Nope. Spawn in the living room. Yeah, this thing is definitely one of the roaming things. I'm thinking wraith or banshee again. Seems to be spawning wherever I'm at. Dining room, living room, and garage. Oh, damn, I got the breaker. Where's the breaker? Is it downstairs? Yep. So I'm pretty sure that this thing is not an Onryo. I'm just doing this just for the sake of, this is what I normally do. So I don't have a smudge here, but I'm gonna get one. Oh, it's stepping in salt. Okay, so it is not a wraith. Okay. Okay, it's not an Onryo. I got 2 footsteps from this thing so far. This has to be another Banshee. It just seems like it's following me around the house, and I know it's not a phantom. We know it's not a wraith. Unless it was a mimic. We should check for orbs, too. We got a 3rd footstep. So it's definitely not shade behavior. Got another whisper. It's gonna spawn now, though. I'm gonna just check for orbs really quick. If I can get out. It's gotta be a Banshee the way it's just following me. It spawned in the garage. It spawned in the living room as I was going by it. It spawned in the kitchen dining room with me. I should hang out in this foyer here. Yeah, it's throwing stuff in here. I don't see orbs. Okay. You gotta be a Banshee. So it's not a mimic. I would say it's not Goryo. Has been giving me a lot of parabolic, but no scream yet. Hasn't really been acting like a mare. I don't think it's yokai. But I do want to check yokai again. I'm not even picking it up now. Yeah, this thing just seems to be all over the place. So I'm going to try doing this because it's going to spawn anyway. I'm going to try going in foyer and seeing if anything gets touched. See if anything gets touched or see if it moves over here. Did it just move something? I want to see if it's going to follow me over here. Yeah, I think it just spawned in that blue bedroom or the bathroom. It's got to be a Banshee. It has to be. And I got a bunch of whispers. I got a bunch of footsteps on that paramic and no scream. I mean, at this point, that has to be a Banshee. That thing spawned right behind me across the house. So it's definitely following me. Now I just want to hear the scream, but... I mean, it has to be Banshee. Will you just do your little yell in my mic? Oh, shit. Kind of want to just smudge him at this point, just so I have like a minute and a half to get this error mic. Got another footstep. Another footstep. Come on, give me the scream. Oh, you suck. Give me the scream. Give me the scream. Another footstep. See, like, this thing is just not giving me the Banshee scream. But it's gotta be a Banshee. It's gotta be. Let's see, we got a minute and a half here. So normally at this point, I would have picked Banshee and took off at this point. I'm just more so trying to see how many screams I'm gonna get here before I get the Banshee scream now. And maybe it's not Banshee, but this thing is following me all over the place. And I know it's not a Wraith. I know it's not a Phantom. Coming up on a minute 30 here. Yeah, so I don't know how many footsteps and whispers I got in this thing. I'm oh, okay. I'm just gonna take off. I'm gonna guess Banshee and take off. Usually I don't spend that much time doing it, because this kind of was just following me around the whole match, but I wanted to actually get that Banshee scream, and just to kind of show like how difficult it can be sometimes to get it. I don't know how many whispers I've gotten this thing, whispers and footsteps. And I heard it was supposed to be a 30% chance. To get the unique Banshee scream there, but I'm not gonna keep going with that. I kind of got a sense that that was following me around in the beginning, but let's see. I don't know. Maybe it'll turn out to be something else, but I don't think it's yokai. I don't think demon. Don't think mare. Let's see if we got a Banshee. And we do.
Welcome back.
So that right there just shows. That's pretty much like the two Banshees that I just got in this one live stream were completely opposite. The way that this one acted is more like how I usually get Banshees to act, meaning like they follow me around, spawn around me a lot more often, and I never get that Banshee scream. So I'm gonna have to watch this back and actually see how many whispers I got and footsteps, and I never got a Banshee scream in that. And that's why I was shocked with the last Banshee that I got. The first time I picked that paramic up, it gave me the Banshee call. And I think that's the first time ever that I've walked in, picked a paramic up, and got a Banshee scream that easy. Usually they behave like the second one. And I have to go more from the behavior on it, like seeing that it's following me around. Like, because that's... For me, it's a more solid telltale than to if you get a scream or not. Because I think a lot of times you might not get the scream. But right from the beginning, that thing was like spawning in the dining room, which that seemed like that was the ghost room for it. So it's going to spawn there. But then when I went into the garage to try and do a miling test, it followed me and spawned in there. Ghost evented on me. Then when I was going through the living room to get out, it spawned in the living room. Then I purposely, once it was spawning back in the dining room, purposely went to that all the way in the front foyer. And that was kind of the proof that I guess I needed when it spawned in that blue bedroom behind me. Because at that point I did rule out Wraith and Phantom at that time. But probably been going a little over an hour and a half here, so I didn't want to make this too long. But we did good. We went in. I think we got all the ghosts right. I don't know how many rounds we did, but I think we got all the ghosts right. We had a couple tricky ones. Not sure. But yeah, I just wanted to show my point of view, my perspective on how I handle zero sanity, zero evidence. It does take a little bit of knowledge, takes a little bit of practice, but you know, anybody can do it. It's fun. For me, it's the funnest way to play this game. So I think everybody should try it. You know, you learn a ton about the ghosts, and then it helps you when you want to go back to things like Nightmare or maybe Insanity mode. Definitely Insanity mode, because Insanity you get one evidence. That's almost like a no evidence run anyway, because you still have to narrow it down between like 10 ghosts usually. So even just knowing or picking up on a few little tips and tricks can help out in Nightmare mode, or even Professional too. Because if sometimes you can't get EMF 5 or ghost writing will take a while to get, and if you can have 2 evidence and you can get it to hunt, you know, you can figure out who it is. So I just wanted to do my version of a little how-to. That's kind of how I look at things, how I go about doing it, and it's what works for me, you know, and you just got to find certain things might work better if you do them a different way or do it somebody else's way. You know, everybody's different. You can, you know, there's more than one way to do this, but again, that's just my point of view. That's kind of how I do it. And I wanted to do it in a live stream too, just so I didn't want it to seem like it's set up and I'm cherry picking certain rounds and putting them together. So I just wanted to do this live and just see what happened. We could have got them all wrong, but we ended up getting them right. So it was good. We got a little bit of money, a little bit of XP, and yeah, usually I like to get the perfect games for more, but for the sake of this video, I just wanted to kind of keep it short. I'd rather have more rounds showing like what I'm doing than sitting there trying to get footstep picks and search for the bone and do all that, you know. But that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching and see you next time.